to their screams.
Greetings, ghouls and creeps, and welcome to Listen to Their Screams, a horror podcast. I am one of your hosts, Dave. I'm joined, as I am every episode, by the other host, Ike. Ike, how are you?
Oh man, I'm sad that October is over, but man, I'm excited for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I am too. I'm excited for any holiday when the central component of it is eating. But
Hell yes.
the thing is this: hey, October may be over, but as we always say, Spooktober is a year-round event. We never let it die. So I'm holding tight. I with very grudgingly threw out our jack-o'-lanterns today with a trash pickup, and I almost wanted to keep them a little longer, but I did not. Anyway, welcome to the show. Wherever you're listening to us, make sure you subscribe to us and help us out networking by sharing the episodes. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Just look up Listen to Screams. That is Listen, the number 2 in Screams. Make sure you follow us there and join the discussions and give us some feedback. We're reachable on all those avenues. Before we jump into things, as always, we have 2 things we like to hit. Thank you to Monica for all her research and helping keep us as organized as is humanly possible for us and giving us some information to make us sound intelligent. It's a hard job, and she does it well. And as always, there's a spoiler warning. Any movies we talk to, we don't try to give away the whole kit and caboodle, but in the course of discussing these, of course, there will be things spoiled. So you've been warned. Before we get into the news and the new releases, let's play our game, Ike. Let's play Top 3.
Top 3.
All right, Ike, this week we have an idea you threw at us here, and I liked it, so we're going with it. It is the top 3 weapons in a horror movie. I like these. I like top 3s that are kind of specific, right, where we can really get down and come up with some stuff. And I pulled – here's my thing. Before we dive into this, and hopefully I'm not, like, spoiling your picks. I tried to stay away from a couple of the major obvious ones.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, there's one that I had to go with because I just thought it was, but some of the ones. I mean, okay, let's give it. I love Michael Myers with the big knife, right? I love Ghostface with his hunting knife. I like those, but I tried to stay. I tried to have a little originality in what I picked, and overall. So anyway. I guess enough. I don't know why I'm giving a precursor to this, but let's just dive into it. Our top 3 weapons in a horror movie. I'm going to let you go first. What is your number 3?
So I don't think I've ever talked about this movie, but it's the Sentinel Sphere from Phantasm. I love that fucking thing. Oh man, It's so cool. It like hits them in the head. It drills into their brain, and it's just a very cool weapon. They also had a cameo in the new Crypt, or it's Tales from the Crypt that's on what's it called? AMC Plus and Shudder. So yeah, it's really cool.
Creep Show.
Creep Show. Yeah, not Tales from the Crypt. What the hell am I talking
about? Yeah. They're very similar. Trust me. That almost made my list. It didn't quite make the cut, but I'm glad you brought it up because it almost made my list. So I'm glad you threw it on there. So it kind of makes the overall. That is a very, very cool weapon, a very unique weapon, and I like that. My number 3. I'm unique as well. My number 3 is the cotton candy gun from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Ike, have you seen Killer Clowns?
Hell yes, I've seen Killer Clowns. I almost put that on there because I love cotton candy.
I fucking love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It is a fun movie, and anything that shoots cotton candy and puts someone in like a cotton candy cocoon, I guess is what you would call it, is amazing to me. I love that. If I ever get the opportunity to dress up for Halloween and go out, it will probably – I'm always leaning towards I want to dress up as the fat clown from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I think his name's is it Chubby? I think it's Chubby. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. I've got the build for that. I can cover up. So the beard – I have a beard. So the beard detracts from a lot of costumes. You can't do it with the beard. And I'm not going to shave the beard right now. So I can put a mask on and hide – anyway. All right. I go on. What's your number 2 weapon in a horror movie?
My number 2 weapon, and this is a new one, it's the Cat-O'-Nine-Tails, which is Art the Clown's weapon, where it's like the thing that's like a whip, and it's got scalpels and knives and stuff on it.
Yeah, Art's very known for his weapon creating. I love in Terrifier 2 when he makes the one, now I know this is not what you picked, but where he makes that club where he's sitting there doing a little, no pun intended, arts and crafts, and makes his little club. he's a very creative killer. Did you hear, Ike, the news today is they have submitted, whether it is taken seriously or not, they have submitted Terrifier 2 for Oscar consideration. So we'll see what happens with that. I would, so help me God, if they even get nominated for something, I am going to be running down the street screaming for joy because that will be the most amazing thing ever. Trust me, I'm telling you, on effects alone, I think it should get an Oscar on that side of it. Especially, again, like I said before, with the budget they did. They didn't have this immense big studio budget, and they did some amazing stuff. But anyway, my number two, let me get my list here. My number two is from kind of a newer series of movies that I really, really like. And it's kind of a plain weapon, but maybe not one that gets a lot of talk. It's Victor Crowley's axe from the Hatchet series. I love the Hatchet movies. I like that. And the Hatchet movies were kind of a throwback horror slasher type movie that's made modern. To me, they were great movies, especially the first one. I love it. And, I think he found some creative ways to kill people with the axe. Ike, are you a fan of the Hatchet movies?
Oh yeah, I love the Hatchet movies. Actually, I would say in the last year or two, I went and watched a lot of them. I think Hatchet's one of those ones where it's like you have to have fun with it. It has a lot of really great cameos. So yeah, no, I love the Hatchet movies. And you're right, the axe doesn't get a lot of love in a lot of cases. Not a very common murder weapon.
No, it's not. I mean, it's one of those. Everybody's got a knife. Everybody, the blade. You think the machete with Jason, all these things. But yeah, there's, it's odd to me that no one over the years, his primary weapon has been an axe. But all right, Ike, what is your number one weapon in a horror movie?
All right, so I went a little obscure for this one. I basically pushed this one to the very limits of what you could consider a weapon. I'm going to talk about the biological weapon, the T-virus from the Resident Evil movie franchise.
Oh, yes, yeah. Should have known you went there. You're a huge Resident Evil fan, so I'm not surprised you went there. So tell us a little. I'm not as versed in the Resident Evil world. So tell us about this virus.
Yeah, no. So for people who maybe have never seen the movies or played the games, really long story short, the T virus is essentially like a zombie virus. There's a whole lot of other viruses that have kind of spawned from the T virus, or what they call the progenitor virus. But the T virus is basically, it's airborne. Once you inhale it, in its airborne form, I should say, you inhale it, you basically die and turn into a zombie eventually. Or if you're bitten by somebody who has been infected with the T virus, you then, of course, turn into a zombie. Turns you into a shambling monster, and you get hungry for flesh. Very, very hungry for that yummy, yummy flesh.
Sounds like a very effective weapon indeed.
Yes, indeed.
my number one's not anything super original, but to me, it just is hands down the most iconic weapon in horror movies, and I just couldn't overlook it. And I'm kind of glad you didn't pick it. I was afraid maybe you would. It's pretty standard, but I had to go with number one being Freddy's glove from Nightmare on Elm Street. I tried to be original. I tried to think of things. I thought, man, it's got to be there, right? It's got to be. When I think horror movie weapons, that's just what pops into mind. That bladed glove. I remember, when these movies were coming out, originally back in the 80s. I mean, it was so freaking original. I mean, it was so different. It was so cool. Everybody wanted to have one. You wanted to walk around with this glove, scraping it against the wall and freaking people out. To me, it is the epitome of an iconic horror movie. But of course, I'm a huge fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street series. So I don't know. I just don't think it gets any more iconic than Freddy's glove.
Listen to Their Screams is now a Fangoria collaborator. Get 20% off your order at shop.fangoria.com by using the promo code LISTEN2SCREAMS at checkout. That is listen, the number 2, and screams. Or you can click the link in the show notes.
All right, now let's look at some news and upcoming releases. We got a few news things. Depends on where you're at in the part of the world. There's a convention coming up, World Fantasy Con, November 3rd through 6th. At the Hyatt Regency in New Orleans, and it's a gathering of those interested in light and dark fantasy art and fiction. And it's primarily, I'm bringing this up because it's a long-running convention. It's been going on since 1975, 47 years. This damn convention's as old as I am, and that's pretty remarkable. I mean, outside of San Diego, you don't get conventions that run that long. So we thought it'd be worth throwing out there. Moving on to toys and merch again. Here we are again. We're going to talk Nika again. Nika's releasing an Annabelle figure for their Head Knocker collection. It's kind of a bobblehead thing. If you like those kind of things, keep an eye on the Nika Facebook page, or you can visit Nikastore.com. I don't think I just don't think I could ever dive too much. I love the Conjuring movies and Annabelle and all that. I just don't think I will ever really want any kind of doll related merchandise in my home because dolls fucking creep me out. I mean, even the ones that are trying to be cute, I don't see myself diving in any Annabelle merchandise anytime soon. And a couple of big birthdays coming up. November 6th is Ethan Hawke's birthday. Of course, he's known for Sinister, The Purge. Most recently, Black Phone. He was excellent in that movie. And then November 3rd, the day of the release of this episode, Tom Savini has a birthday. Of course, everybody knows Tom Savini, right? The special effects mastermind known for the 1978 Dawn of the Dead, where he received several nominations for his work through different awards entities. Of course, he worked on Friday the 13th, Part 1, The Final Chapter, Creep Show 1 and 2, Black Phone that we mentioned with Ethan Hawke. Tom Savini is the man. Just absolutely. I mean, horror would be completely different if it was not for the work and the foundation that Tom Savini has laid down. So happy birthday, Mr. Savini. And then there's also a couple big anniversary dates for movies. On November 3rd, 1956, The Wizard of Oz first aired on TV. The movie was originally released theatrically in 1939. And I know a lot of people are going to say, why the fuck are you mentioning The Wizard of Oz? You can think what you want. In my mind, The Wizard of Oz is a monster horror movie. And it always will be. It scared the crap out of me when I was little. And here's the thing. Let's discuss this for a little bit, right? Because this is one of my favorite topics. I love to discuss this part. And have you seen The Wizard of Oz before? It may have been a while, but okay. Here's the thing. A lot of people watch The Wizard of Oz, right? They wouldn't think horror per se, right? They don't think. But keep in context the time period. This movie was made in 1939. So this is the time of your classic Universal movies. When you compare this movie to those movies, why is it not horror? What's different? Yeah. That it would not be considered horror. I mean, there are so many. I mean, come on, the freaking winged monkeys, enough or not to scare the crap out of you. Not to mention the fact that there's wicked witches and there's this evil wizard mastermind. I mean, to me, you can say what you want. I know compared to modern horror, yes, maybe it's not horror, right? There's not blood, guts, there's not slasher, there's none of those kind of elements, or any of that kind of thing. If you compare it to its peers in this time period, hands down, I will go to my grave saying The Wizard of Oz is a horror/monster movie. Discussion done. Ike, what do you think?
You know, well, it's what's that meme? Well, when you put it that way, and it is, because here's the deal. I would probably agree with you, because even as a child of the 90s, watching that movie, there were aspects of it that were a little frightening for like little old Isaac. So and that's not something I really thought about until just now when you kind of put it into that perspective. But also you think of the time period, right? The 50s. I mean, you didn't have bloody, gory movies in the 50s. I mean, I think the worst that you got were maybe monster movies, but even then, a lot of those were, maybe not at the time, but retrospectively, they're kind of put into that PG category. So, honestly, I see exactly where you're coming from. If this movie were released in today's day and age, I think it would be very different had it not been released in the 50s. But I think given that time period, I would put this in the same category as like a monster movie, like a Swamp, or what is it, the Creature or the Black Lagoon, or Dracula.
Yeah, I mean horror. I mean, here's the thing: we lump monster movies into the horror genre, right? That's just what we do now. It's classic horror. It's what we define it. To me, The Wizard of Oz is a monster movie. It is in that same vein. It's got that same feel. It's based on classic literature. I mean, to me, it's the exact same. I mean, I guess it's all in how you define horror. But if you're going to, again, and again, I am the biggest flag bearer for the Universal monsters and the classic horror. To me, this fits right in with it. But anyway, we got way on a tangent there talking about anniversary dates. But another anniversary date, on November 9th, 1984, The Nightmare on Elm Street was released. The very original. I won't say. I don't. Here's the thing. Let's get on a tangent here. Let's talk about Nightmare a little bit for just a moment. I love the Nightmare series, right? But let's be honest. Some of them are a little out there. I love the first one. It is a great film. Of course, it's got Johnny Depp in it and all that. But to me, Dream Warriors is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I'm sure at some point we're going to dive deeper into Nightmare and we'll discuss it. Ike, do you have a favorite in the Nightmare franchise?
Yeah, no, I honestly I have to agree. Yeah, because here's the deal. First things first, before I get into that, Nightmare on Elm Street. It used to be my favorite horror movie. Until I really got into like Halloween, and I really just fell in love with just Halloween in general. But Nightmare on Elm Street used to be one of those movies where I'd watch and I'm like, this is just. I mean, and I do still feel this way. I think it's probably one of the best, if not the best, horror movie of the '80s. You have, I would say, one of the best horror soundtracks of all time. You have this very dreamlike nature to it. You have, I would say, probably one of the most iconic horror movie villains of all time. And you have who I would say is one of my favorite final girls, Heather Langenkamp, in this movie. And I just love it. Chef's kiss. But yeah, I would agree. Dream Warriors or Wes Craven's New Nightmare is probably my favorite Nightmare sequel.
Oh yeah. New Nightmare is great too. That is such an original take for me. I very much like that one. That's a great one. Yeah. So anyway, see, we got a little tangent, so that's okay, right? This is supposed to spawn discussions. So let's talk about upcoming streaming and release. We've kind of gotten past, October and Halloween, so some of this is going to die down a little bit, right? All of our major releases got out, but that does not mean there is not still stuff out there for horror. Coming out on November 8th on Screenbox and then video on demand the same day is All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. It is a motel worker discovers that snorting earthworms gives him a euphoric hallucinatory trip. Sounds wild and whatever else, but Ike, here's the thing. We're covering this movie next episode. We're going to watch and review All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. I've seen the trailer. It looks a little weird. That's okay because weird horror is good horror. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, that comes out November 8th on Screenbox. Speaking of Screenbox, it is as a happy Halloween here. We gave a bonus episode out, but Screenbox on Halloween as a Halloween gift gave you Terrifier 2. That's right. If you've been waiting, if you couldn't go see it, or if you want to see it again, Terrifier 2 is now streaming on Screenbox. Screenbox is dirt cheap. It's like $5 a month to subscribe to it. So you got to see this movie, right? We've been talking about it pretty much nonstop. Everybody's been talking about it pretty much nonstop since it's been released. So go subscribe to Screenbox and watch it and support. Again, we've got to support these movies. We got to support. I love supporting streaming services that are horror centric. Because they're giving us movies like this, right? The Terrifier 2, some of the movies we've talked about, Deadstream, and some of these things we've seen on Shudder, these movies that we talk about. I mean, if we didn't have these streaming services, we wouldn't have these movies.
Nope.
And then speaking again of Screenbox, here we are. I mean, this apparently is a Screenbox week for us. Deep Fear was recently released on Screenbox. It is 3 young, freshly graduated students decide to have a little fun visiting the Paris catacombs. Soon, Sonia, Max, and Henry need to escape from a strange creature hiding in the bowels of the earth, hoping to unleash hell on the surface. Again, we talked about this recently. You put anything underground in tight spaces, that's it. I'm done. I don't even have to watch this thing to know it's going to terrify me. The Paris catacombs, catacombs in general, fascinate me. To think that there's places out there with these, I mean, essentially almost cities under the cities. In some cases, it is wild to me. And I'm curious to watch this to see what the creature is.
I swear they made that movie before. I think As Above, So Below. It's a paranormal movie it's a found footage paranormal movie about the Paris catacombs. I mean, I'll watch it. I'm not saying anything about Screenbox. I ain't talking shit, but I have to. I think I've seen this movie. No, good.
I'm pretty sure in the description it says that it's. I can't remember how they described it exactly. It was as some movie meets As Above, So Below. It actually even mentioned in the description it was that's pulling influences from there. You know what it is. I guess if you cite your references, it's all right? But I'll still give it a shot, and we'll watch that. Nothing really major coming up.
It's not plagiarism if you cite your references.
No, that's right. Not plagiarism, it's research. That's right. I mean, that's right. There are millions of college students that have said that in the past. Nothing notable coming out to theaters in the near future, but as a note, if I'm sure the entire world's talking about it again, and Ike, let's talk about this for a moment. It has just been announced that coming in the future to Peacock, there is a prequel series to Friday the 13th called Crystal Lake. Brian Fuller will be the head writer, the showrunner. He's currently executive producer of Queer for Fear, the history of queer horror that's currently running on Shudder. What's more intriguing than this, apparently, Fuller's been interviewed since this announcement on some sites for Fangoria and some other sites. He has stated A24 is the studio that's behind this, which that alone is pretty amazing. But he has been interviewed and has said legally the movie rights are still in just a mess, right? He doesn't know when that'll get sorted out. But as far as this, television and streaming, everybody's on board. Legally, everybody has signed on board. And he says that anything that has appeared in a Friday the 13th movie to date is fair game for this prequel series. Now, he has indicated that he can't really divulge anything, that he kind of gave the vibe that prequel is a weird term to use for this. And I'm curious about this because everybody seems to think this is a prequel to the first movie, and this is going to be like talking pre-Pamela Voorhees, right? Right. I'm not so sure that's where this is going. Apparently, the interview I read, he's given a vibe like this might be more pre-reboot movie, which if you take it to that way, that's more wide open, right? Because that movie jumped into knee deep when Jason was already a thing. Yeah. And it just kind of hit the Pamela Voorhees thing in the opening credits. Given that they can pull the hockey mask, they can pull the adult Jason, I don't think they're going kid Jason in this. I really don't. I think this is going to tie more. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by, because he stressed he couldn't say anything, but he gave the indication that prequel was maybe not the absolute best term for this series. So I'm curious what will go. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm excited as hell for it, and I can't wait to see it. With everybody on board, being on Peacock, it's going to have some budget. This is going to be pretty amazing. I know you're a Friday the 13th franchise fan, as I am. You got to be pumped for this as well.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like you said, Brian, A24, for people who don't know, A24 gave us X, Midsommar, Hereditary, Lighthouse, Ex Machina, It Comes at Night. I could go on. They've given us so many freaking good movies. So I have full confidence that the people who are on this project are going to give us a very, very, very palatable product. But I'm very curious of how they're going to put this into the perspective of the Friday the 13th timeline, because, a lot of the Friday the 13th movies, they don't really fit together real well. There's a lot of weird chronology that happens with those movies, and there's not a whole lot of consistency between the movies. So and like you said, I don't think they're going to do original series Jason. I don't think they're going to do all of that. Definitely not pre-Pamela Voorhees for sure. But I do think that they're going to do something with the reboot, because like you said, we've talked about it before. The reboot did exactly what I think they should have done with the original movies. They included the first three movies in one foul swoop. Pamela Voorhees, hockey mask, and bag face Jason. So, I think that they're going to go with the remake. They're going to do the reboot, and I hope, because I think it would be cool. Because in the remake Jason, you actually see Jason see his mother get killed. So I would be very curious to see, maybe this will follow the events immediately after that, between that and the beginning of the 2008 movie. So that would be cool. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, because they give the indication there's a time jump there, right? There's clearly some time that's passed. So, Jason's, I'm sure he's been busy during that time doing things, right? I mean, maybe we'll see what he's doing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's taking a cooking class. Who knows what he's doing in there? We'll figure that out. Again, I'm excited. I know so many people have trepidation when things come up, right? And I get that. Yeah. If you love a franchise and something new's coming, you're always like, oh, don't screw up what I love. I get that. But come on. Have you seen all the Friday the 13th movies? They've screwed up stuff before. It's happened. Right? And here's the thing. I'm not saying anything bad, because fucking I love Jason Takes Manhattan. Right?
Oh, I do. I love it.
I'm a fan when they screw up, quote unquote. I love it, right? I'm okay with the little wacky. So everything does not have to be, the Mona Lisa pasted on the wall. Let's, look at this piece of artwork. It's okay just to fucking have fun, right? Yep. And you've got people behind this that are putting out quality products. Have always put out good movies. I don't have any doubt that whatever it is, it's going to be fun. It's going to be original. It's going to be, it's going to be, whatever I'm trying to say. It's going to be a tribute to some of the material that's out there. I'm sure there'll be plenty of nods and tips of the hat and Easter eggs and all that, because that's part of filmmaking nowadays. Yep. And it's like, man, why does everybody prejudge before they've even seen? Right? I was excited as hell for Halloween Ends until it came out, and then I judged. But let's don't. Let's. I think it's gonna have to be our goal to see if we can bring up Halloween Ends in every single episode from here to eternity. Let's just don't prejudge, guys. Right? Let's watch. Let's wait. Yeah. Let's see what they do. Give it a chance. Let's be excited that after all these years, we're getting something new official Friday the 13th, because it's been a mess and we haven't had anything, and it didn't look like anything was going to happen. So let's just be excited that we're getting something, and let's give it a chance. So,
all right. I agree 100%. 100%.
Man, I tell you, it's like that in anything. It's not just horror. It's any genre of fandom out there, right? Everybody's so fickle. It's like you go. I mean, I grew up in a time period when you had things that you loved, and sometimes you went very, very long without anything, no merchandise, no nothing, and you're like, man, I wish there'd be more, right? I like the Star Wars movies, right? I grew up with the original trilogy, and I'm not here. I'm not going to go into a sidetrack on what's good and what's not good, but I grew up with the original trilogy, right? And then I went like 2 decades with nothing, and I'm like, man, come on, just give us something, give us some toys, and then stuff comes out, and all people want to say is, well, this is shit. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you should have went through the dry spell when we didn't have anything. I'll take whatever, I mean, so take things for what they are and just have a little fun. But anyway, that's the old man yelling at the clouds here. It's like, man, fucking people. It's movies. It's I'm as passionate as the next guy, but don't take it so seriously, right? There's not really a Jason sitting out somewhere in a casting trailer that's offended if they're going to do the wrong movie. Hey, come on, it's a character. Have a little fun with it. All right, let me catch my breath. Let me take a drink here, calm myself down, and when we come back, we'll talk about what we watched this week.
Halloween, the festival of Samhain. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red.
All right, I think I've calmed my blood pressure a little bit. I calmed down. I got off my soapbox. Now let's talk about anything we did spooky. Of course, it was Halloween, because of course there was a lot of spooky since the last episode. Just some weird ass shit I did. I have you seen did you see the Papa John's jack-o'-lantern pizza? I think they've done it for a couple years now.
Yeah.
You see this? Yeah. I got one of those. I'm a sucker. It's become a tradition for me. And of course, I'm the goof that, gets the jack-o'-lantern pizza, takes a weird selfie and puts it on social media. That's what I do. I don't give it. I don't, I am the oldest teenage girl in the book, and that's okay. And then the other Halloween, the night before Halloween, we carve jack-o'-lanterns and put those out. That's the thing we do every year. And then of course, there was Halloween, right? We watched Halloween movies. We had a big, spooky buffet of food. We ended it by watching Halloween Kills, and yes, I watched Halloween Ends again that night because one of my sons here in the house hadn't seen it yet, and he wanted to see it. We saved it for Halloween, and I watched it. It didn't really get any better for me, but it was okay. But here's a weird thing. As much as I'm bashing this movie, I've officially seen it 3 times now, and it's so. I don't think there's been a movie that I've ever knocked more that I've seen more time. I mean, I hate the movie Coyote Ugly, but I've only seen that motherfucker 1 time, and it ain't getting to 2. And so, but anyway, Ike, what'd you do spooky this week? Anything?
Yeah, first and foremost, I was traveling this last weekend, so that's typically when we try and do some like spooky stuff, especially right before Halloween. So since I was traveling, I didn't get to do much. I did go out to dinner on Monday, which I guess you can consider it spooky because everybody was dressed up at the restaurant. Living in Florida, I went to a beachside restaurant actually, so it was kind of weird, like being near the beach. It's October. It's not super cold, and like people are dressed up. It was kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. But also, for people who don't know, I love video games. I'm a huge video gamer. And I talked about Resident Evil earlier, but I did play the new Resident Evil 8 DLC, Shadows of Rose, which is definitely spooky. I was that thing had me jumping and stuff. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited for they're doing a new Resident Evil game that comes out in I think March of next year. It's called Resident Evil 4. It's a remake of the original Resident Evil 4, which came out in like 2006. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that too. But no, yeah, nothing else. Just went to dinner and I played some Resident Evil.
Hopefully the dinner wasn't spooky. Hopefully you didn't spend the night in the bathroom or anything and making weird ass noises and stuff. So
creatures from the deep. No kidding.
Yeah. As above, so below. Let's tie it back to that one. We've lowered ourselves to bathroom humor now. Oh, that's a new low. I blame Halloween Ends, right? Let's blame everything on Halloween Ends, right? So anyway, let's talk about what we watched this week. As always, I'm very busy. I am fortunate enough that when I work, I can always have a movie on, right? So in the background, paying attention. So I get a lot of time to get through a lot of stuff. It doesn't really distract me from my work, if anybody's listening. So it's on the background. But I did watch Cabinet of Curiosities. Continued watching that on Netflix. It is on there. It's been weird because I watched it, again. There were some new episodes that dropped today. They're dropping it weird to me. Like the first week they dropped like 2 episodes, and they dropped 2 episodes, and then like today they dropped like 4 episodes or something. I don't understand their schedule here, but all 8 episodes are out now, and I'm enjoying the series. These last episodes are not as good as the early episodes. There were some of those first 4, man, I loved them. And Ike, I know it's on your review. How much of Cabinet of Curiosities have you made it through?
Oh, man, let me look at the episodes because I don't like I remember watching them, but like I don't remember like which okay, like obviously I started at number 1. But like there was
I
I'm
hope
trying to
so.
remember which No, I gotta watch it in order. If I don't watch it in order, my brain I'll have a freaking aneurysm. I'm one of those people that if I don't watch it in the chronological order, like I even have sometimes hard time watching movies that I've seen before out of order.
Yeah.
Oh man. But anyways, so okay, what was the first episode? Do you remember off the top of your head?
No idea. There's one of the early episodes was with the storage unit. Was that the first one?
Yes, that was the first one.
Yeah, the guy that bought the storage unit. So that one was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed that one. My big question is, have you got to the one about the lotion yet?
Yes. Oh man, I really loved that episode.
That
Honestly,
episode was absolutely incredible. That I'm not sure what that girl's name is. I cannot remember her name. She was in what was it, Garfunkel and Oates, some comedic duo. She's been
yeah,
on Big Bang Theory and lots of different things. She was in Clerks 3. She's been in lots of different things. She is hilarious, and she was absolutely amazing. Her husband was incredible. The whole oh my god, it was weird. It was disgusting in parts. It was, and the best part of it was the ending. And
yeah.
whatever she was doing with these weird, oh, it was so perfectly shot and acted. It was so. Here's my thing: if you watch one episode of this entire series, I'm not sure what it's called. You'll see it. It's about the lotion. That's the one to watch. That is the best episode of the series.
It's episode 4, The Outside.
There you go. The Outside it is great. That is by far my favorite. I've got one episode left in the series. I'm struggling through these last couple. They're not near as good, but you know what? I've got to finish it off. But none of them touch that one. That is the best one. So I watched that, and then I also went back and rewatched From Beyond from 1986. If you want to watch that, it's free on Tubi or it's on video demand. It's got Barbara Crampton is in it, which who I absolutely love. And it's also got Jeffrey West. So it's got both of them from Reanimator. They're also in this movie. It's based on an H.P. Lovecraft story. It's an all right movie. I enjoy it. It's pretty fun. I did watch Barbarian this week on HBO Max, and it's got Bill Skarsgård and Justin Long. I absolutely loved it, man. I thought it was pretty cool. It was fun. In doing the research for this, we found out the home address in this movie was 476 Barbary Street. Of course, Barbary Street's a play on Barbarian, and 476 is the year that the barbarians invaded Rome. So I like when they do little nods and Easter eggs like that. So, but again, I highly recommend watching Barbarian on HBO Max. I went back and rewatched Terror Train from 1980. It's free on Tubi, Plex. It's on the Roku channel, and plus it's on AMC Plus. Of course, that is one of Jamie Lee Curtis's horror films post Halloween, the original Halloween. And a little fact: this is the only film that magician David Copperfield was in where he did not play himself. He was in this film. And then I did watch Werewolf by Night, the Disney Plus Marvel thing. It's based on Marvel Comics characters that originally were in Marvel Tales number 116 in July 1953. It was okay. It was fun. It was nicely shot. I like it. I think it was the right idea to do it something like these special presentations instead of doing an ongoing series. And then I went as part of my Halloween celebrations. I rewatched 1987's Monster Squad, which you can watch on Paramount Plus, and then I watched the new. There's actually 2, but I watched the newest episode of Simpson Treehouse of Horror, which there is. I will say this for anybody that's a Simpsons fan, for anybody that has been a little exasperated maybe by I like all Simpsons to a different degree, but a lot of people I know complain about modern Simpsons, the latest Simpsons. The last segment they did in this Treehouse of Horrors is absolutely the best material they've done in years. It is there's so many callbacks to past stuff. It's brilliant. It is amazing. I don't care if you've quit watching Simpsons and you think you're not a fan anymore, watch the new Treehouse of Horror just to watch that last segment. It is absolutely amazing. So I know we mentioned Cabinet of Curiosities, but what else did you watch? So I know you said you were traveling, but did you get to watch anything else?
Yeah, I was able to watch a few things. Yeah, like you said, I watched the first 4 episodes of Cabinet of Curiosity. I need to watch the rest. I watched VHS 1999 finally. I know you kind of reviewed it last week, but I was able to catch it this week, and honestly, super duper good. Like you said, I really liked the kind of like the last 2 parts of it, where it was just so good.
What did you think about the game show one, the Double Dare game show segment? Was that segment not amazing?
That was so cool. And here's the deal. I love Stephen Ogg, who plays the game show host. He's in for people who don't know, he's one of Negan's people in Walking Dead, but he also does he's in like Grand Theft Auto or some shit. But I love that guy. He's so funny. And like you're kind of cracking up and you're like, what's going on here? And then like she just like, for spoiler alert, she just breaks her fucking leg. And I mean, it is a gnarly break. And like that, I recoiled at that.
Yep.
And oh my God, so good. Honestly, it's the best one yet. I agree. But it makes me excited because they're doing another one, aren't they?
Yes, they're doing 85, which is VHS 85. It does, like I said, I think there's 5 of them now. There's been 5. I've enjoyed them all, but every one I've enjoyed a little more than the one before it. I just think the series is getting better. I think they're really found their groove. And like I said, I think the year themed kind of ties it together a little better, gives it a more cohesive feel. And I liked 94. I thought 99 was even better, and I am super pumped for 85. So, man, I thought it was a fun movie.
No, yeah, absolutely. I love anthologies. I love VHS, so I'll definitely watch it. But then, really, the only other thing I watched some of the Resident Evil movies, like the Mila Jovovich ones, but I also went back and watched Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City from 2021. You can actually catch that on Starz if you want to watch it, or video on demand. I love Resident Evil. I loved Welcome to Raccoon City. And I'm sure there are some Resident Evil fans, and we were kind of talking this earlier, but like Resident Evil fans are some of the worst fans out there. I swear. I'm a Resident Evil fan. I'm kind of ashamed to be a Resident Evil fan because Jesus, I don't know if you've heard, but like they shit on everything. Did you watch the Resident Evil series on Netflix?
I did not. No.
So many people bitched and moaned about that series and complained so fucking much, and they ended up canceling it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. I thought it was different. It wasn't the typical Resident Evil. It used it as material, but it wasn't like super strict to what the original source was. And I thought it was great. It had Lance Reddick in it, who plays in John Wick, and I love Lance Reddick. Mm-hmm. But people are bitching and moaning so much, and the fucking show got canceled. So I'm officially like vetoing like Resident Evil fans. I hate them.
I'm telling you, I mean, I don't want to sound lectury, and I hope I don't offend anybody that might be listening, but man, there are so many toxic fans out there nowadays. Yeah. On like I said, in every genre, every property out there, and I get it, right? I have things that I love and I'm passionate about, but I don't think I've ever got to the point where it's like I just want to blast it so bad and pick it apart. I can call, you know what? I can call it for what it is. I can say if something's not very good or whatever, that's okay. But I still want to support it, because if I love the property, I still want there to be more. And if you're out there bashing it, you're going to kill it, right? You're going to kill what you supposedly love. And there's so many people that are like that. They just think they want to, I don't know what they feel like they're protectors of the property. I don't, it's weird to me. And I hate that shit. I hate people that go out and knock people for wearing movie shirts or band shirts, or like, oh, you're not a true fan. What the fuck you? What the hell does that even mean? Right? I mean, I don't give a shit if one person wears a band shirt and they like one song by that person. Okay, who cares? They have a right then to wear that shirt if they want. Why is there got to be a degree or rating system for this stuff? I don't care. I see a band shirt out there, and my immediate, if it's a band I like, or a movie or whatever it is, my immediate thought is, hell yeah, there's somebody that's spending money and supporting something I love, so maybe it'll help it out. Right? Yeah. I don't care what they like. I don't care if they like one movie or one character. Who cares? Right? I don't care. Whatever. If there's just one kernel of love that this person has for this, there's something that we have in common. Right? There's something that I could have a conversation to whatever degree it is. And I don't care if they can't talk to my level or if I can't talk to theirs. Who cares, right? There is a level there, though, between us that we can talk, right? We can speak. If it's a band, and I've done this, right? We talked on their Halloween special. I'm a huge Kiss fan, right? I was here one time in town. I was out at dinner, and there was a girl working as a waitress that had a Kiss shirt on, right? And I was like, oh, man, I love your shirt. Are you a Kiss fan? She goes, well, to be honest, I just really love Rock and Roll All Night, right? Everybody knows Rock and Roll All Night. Everybody loves Rock and Roll All Night. That's cool.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not going to sit there and rip her apart and bash her that she only loves that. That's fine. But I can sit there and I can relate to this, right? That's one person that likes something about something I love. Why am I not going to be cool and be happy about that?
Right.
So,
no, and I agree, because here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is, first and foremost, you shitting on a product and saying, and like trying to convince people not to watch it or participate in it or whatever the case is, only thing it does is hurt the product. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then they start canceling projects, they start not renewing things. And, and this isn't Resident Evil exclusive, but there are a lot of properties where people are like, why are they not making more of this property? But then they'll turn right around and just absolutely blast the fuck out of something on social media. And in similar concept, I was at a convention one time, and somebody had a Resident Evil lanyard, and I was like, hey, I love your lanyard. And I struck up a conversation. I'm like, do you like the Resident Evil games? They're like, well, I've only really played the new ones. And again, I was like, that's fucking amazing. Great. Keep buying these games. And I told him, if you're ever interested, check out these other games. It doesn't have to be, it's called gatekeeping. That's a term that I learned. It's gatekeeping. People are trying to gatekeep these things, and it's not cool. Nobody thinks you're awesome. Nobody's sitting there clapping like, oh, hell yeah, this guy's, oh, fuck yeah, he's teaching them. Oh, no, we just think you're a dickhead.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. It's all just opinion, right? It's all opinion and taste. And I hate when people they mistake opinion for fact, right?
Yep.
Because those are two different things. And you can't, opinions are not facts. There's no factual status on an opinion, right? And if somebody loves whatever it is, whether it's Resident Evil, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's horror movies, whether it's Kiss, whatever it is, if they love anything about that, anything at all, whether it's a little bit, whether it's a lot, whether they're new, whether they're a longtime fan, and if you are bashing it for it, you're just a dick and you're an asshole. And what you're doing is you're crushing that person, because if that person may have just discovered this property. Imagine what it is. Go back to when I'm speaking to you specifically, like I'm speaking out into the the universe.
Yep.
But imagine that feeling when something that you love, whether it be horror movies, whether it be Resident Evil, whatever it is. Imagine that feeling you got when you first discovered it, and how exciting it was, and how, as you discovered things and you watched things or you played the games or whatever it might be, how exciting that journey was, and how wrapped up you were and how passionate you got about it. Who are we or anybody to judge someone else that's new and kill their spirit before they've even dove into that journey? I mean, they could have just discovered that one song or that one game or that one movie or that one actor or whatever it is that's going to start. It could start a lifelong journey for them into this, right? They're not going to learn everything overnight. And who's to say they're not going to keep learning, right? That waitress that loved Rock and Roll All Night, who's not to say that she's not going to go and keep listening through their catalog and find out how much she actually loves Kiss. And right, just because I can rattle off deep cuts, off their 70s albums, and she knows one song. What does that make me better than her? No, it doesn't make me better than her. It just makes it. I've had longer than I've been associated with being a fan of this band. That's all it is. It's just a time thing. So I could talk on this for hours. I'm not gonna. Let's get off this soapbox because it drives me nuts. I am totally the kind of, I don't care how much you like. If I see someone that likes something I like, whatever, or just has an interest, I'm like all about it. I'm like, hey, let me help you, right? Let me talk to you about this, right? Let me give you my opinions and let me hear your opinions and let me share and tell you what you need to watch and let me feel your excitement on being a new, because everybody, I have so many movies and things I love. There's so many times I wish I could watch it again for the first time. Right. I wish I could see it again because I love this movie, but I wish I could capture that feeling I got when I first watched it one more time and just forget I ever watched it and watch it again. And I can't. So it's exciting to me when I see people that are that are discovering these things. And so yeah, there we go. I guess we got a little extra. That's okay, because I feel very strongly. Again, I hope we didn't offend anybody out there. But
fuck
I mean, if you're that kind of person, I just don't think, I don't know. I don't think we got a lot in common to relate to anyway. Like we said from the very get-go, hey, we're pretty positive, right? We like shitty movies, and we try to find the positives in things rather than point out the negatives. We'll point out when we don't like anything. Halloween ends, but I'm just joking. But we're not going to do it to the point of bashing, and I'm not going to judge anybody else if they like it and I hate it. That doesn't make any difference to me. More power to them. That's their right. Again, let's go back to Kiss. I love Kiss. A lot of people say Kiss is the shittiest band in the world. All right, that's okay. That doesn't change how much I like them. I don't care what you think. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. So, man, I feel like our breaks are very well timed, because it gives me a chance to get my old man blood pressure down before we go on to the next segment here.
Second value.
So yeah. So let's take a little break here, and we'll come back and we'll review our 2 movies we watched for this episode.
The following film is an account of a tragedy that transpired in an isolated property.
You'll have to go down to the farm.
Are you sure this is the right place?
He said it's his grandpa's house.
I'm pretty sure no one lives there.
Okay, we're back. I've meditated for a moment, and I've calmed myself down, and I feel like I'm about to get fired up again, because we're going to talk about these 2 movies, and one of them gets me a little fired up. And I don't know why. But let's start. We're going to start with the one that fires me up. Let's start with KRISTY. Ike,
I'm ready.
Ike, yeah, KRISTY came out in 2014, and if you want to watch it, it's free on Tubi. You can also get it on Vudu. It's on Freevee. It's on the Roku app, and it's on video on demand. Yeah, it's everywhere out there. So here's the synopsis of it. It says a college girl, Justine, works hard to support herself at Bryce College, where she studies. During Thanksgiving weekend, her boyfriend Aaron goes home, and Justine has plans to stay on campus with her roommate Nicole. Out of the blue, Nicole's father invites her to Aspen, while Justine remains in the dorm. One night, Justine drives to a convenience store to buy supplies and meets Violet. Supplies is a weird word here. And meets Violet, who threatens her. Shaken, Justine returns to campus, where she soon finds herself being hunted down by Violet and 3 hoodlums from a cult. Justine has to fight to survive. The movie is starring Haley Bennett and Ashley Greene. Oh man, I have to say I'd never really heard of this movie. We kind of picked this to throw out because we're into November. We're a little lighter on the new releases, so we thought we would try to tie in some stuff that's kind of Thanksgiving-y, right? That's at least around Thanksgiving. And this, like I said, this happens Thanksgiving weekend. There's not a lot of Thanksgiving theme to it per se, but so we thought, I thought, hey, I've never watched this movie. This will be good, right? This is something new. It's a fairly, like I said, it's 2014, so it's a fairly newer movie. I'm just going to say right off the bat, overall, I didn't like the movie. I didn't enjoy it. It didn't have a lot of redeeming good. I don't know what it was. I do have some ideas on what it was, but I don't know. It fell short for me. So before we go into some more details and get some notes, Ike, what is your opinion? I mean, and don't be afraid to be different from me again. We've talked about this. What's your opinions on KRISTY?
Yeah, no, so I have seen this movie before. When we were coming up with ideas, I was like, I'm trying to think of a movie that happens during Thanksgiving, and I was trying to think, like, what's something that is in that realm? And I was like, well, that movie KRISTY, yeah, that happens during Thanksgiving break. It's not super Thanksgiving-y, but it's in that world, So, and so I've seen it before, and when I rewatched it, I was like, yeah, it's a good movie. It's fun. Obviously, it's not going to win any awards, but it was just one of those movies. It's one of those ones you can't read too far into it, because if you start reading too far into it, you're going to start saying things like, well, when I was in college, for instance, they wouldn't let you just stay on campus. They would move you to a specific dorm, or they would just tell you get the fuck out. And my wife said the same thing. Because she went to Ball State, which is a little bit of a bigger campus than what I went to. She said the same thing. She's like, yeah, no, if you're staying on campus, they're going to move you into one dorm. You don't get to stay in your own, or they're just going to tell you to go home. So obviously there are some flaws with this movie, but I personally enjoyed it. I think it's a fun little, kind of like a weird internet cult movie where this person's getting killed because she looks a certain way, and because the whole KRISTY thing. KRISTY stands for like follower of Jesus or something, or follower of God, and they kind of tie in like this cult is killing people who they think match like this description, and it kind of adds to, like, in my opinion, it adds to like the, kind of the nonsense of it. Like, they're just killing randomly at this point. It's not a specific person. It's just anybody that they feel embodies this like idea that they have. So I kind of like that. But no, yeah, I don't like the ending very much.
No.
And I'm sure you're probably going to talk about it, but I feel like it didn't make any sense. But I was like, there's 100 different ways you could have ended the movie, and it would have made more sense. But that's my thoughts.
Well, yeah, it was weird. I mean, the concept of this cyber cult they're essentially hunting people they feel are privileged, right? Like, kind of privileged.
Right.
That's okay. Yeah, because here's the thing. Unfortunately, now there's some kernels of truth in some of this, right? There's some things happening, right? But there's the twist of KRISTY's not privileged, right? She's working, she's busting her ass to put herself through college. They see her driving, I think it was a BMW or whatever it is, but it's not her car, it's her roommate's car that she left because Violet points out, "Oh, I like your car," right? They have prejudged her based on what they're seeing, and it's totally false. Right? She's not privileged in any way. She's not what they think she is. And I don't know. I mean, the movie, there were some creepy parts. It just felt slow moving to me. And I thought the Violet character could have been good if they had just maybe given a little more developing, right? And you don't have to give it a lot of backstory. But I just felt if maybe there could have been a little something to show. The opening sequence where they showed them killing this other girl, I think you could have switched that out with maybe an opening sequence of why Violet hates these privileged girls, right? These pretty blonde privileged girls. Make her be something that's a trigger, right? I know she's part of a bigger picture in this movie, but still, I just felt like there maybe could have been a little something there. I don't know. It was just a little odd to me. And again, the movie just felt like a drag. One of the creepiest parts of me was how I think it was just the one guy kept whistling "Jesus Loves Me," and that was pretty weird and that was pretty creepy. Man, when you take songs out of context and put them in different settings, you can get a whole creep level over there. Well, we always say cute is creepy, and I felt like this Sunday school hymn thing or whatever it is. It was a little weird in this context. And again, like I said, I thought Violet was creepy. She had a neat look about her. I just felt like there could have maybe been a little more development, a little more motive behind her. Maybe at the ending, like you said, I don't know what the fuck it was shit, right? She was swimming through all this thing, and I mean, what happened? She mixed up some pool chemicals to make something to set Violet on fire. And
I have no clue. I was talking to my wife. Yeah, my wife has a science degree, and she's like, not to my knowledge, nothing that they would keep in a pool closet would do that. And I was like, I wouldn't think so. Like,
it was odd. And and then so she takes she takes a picture of her burned out and like puts it up on this cyber cult site or whatever, saying, "Oh, it's done," and turns things in, and it starts breaking down, and they find out there's chapters all over the U.S. and they're all being busted. I'm like, okay, whatever. That just seemed a little, seemed a little peculiar to me. And then did you see the post-credit scene? What the hell was that?
There was a post-credit scene?
Yeah, there was a post-credit scene where it looked like they hadn't all been completely done away, and there was a guy that was going to grab another girl, and then it just stopped all of a sudden. So it's like, what, did they really think there was going to be a sequel to this or something? I mean, did they think this was going to, what the hell?
I was going to say, I kind of thought that there would be a sequel, honestly, because, sorry, I just pulled up the movie here. I'm watching the end credit scene, but I'm really surprised I didn't sit around and wait for that, because typically I do. I've been conditioned by Marvel.
Yeah. But then it's like he goes to grab the girl, it stops abruptly, and it's weird because it's almost like is there another person that intercepts? It's odd. I don't know whether it's trying to insinuate this cult's going on, reforming, rebuilding, still out there. I don't know whether it's trying to insinuate that KRISTY or someone is now a vigilante. It was supposed to show that she's stopped. If I'm just reading too much into that whole scene, it was a little peculiar to me. I don't know. The whole movie, again, it didn't feel like it really ever got going for me. And it's just, I don't know. Not the kind of movie. I mean, it was, whatever. It is what it is. Not a favorite of mine.
Yeah, I just
I don't
watched the
know.
end credits scene. I don't know what the fuck's going on
Yeah,
there.
I don't know what the hell that was. I don't know.
That was
I don't know if it
weird.
was just to leave the door cracked for another one if they could do it. I guess I don't know. But so let's rate this thing. Ike, what are you giving it out of 5 screams? What are you giving Christy?
Like I said, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. I mean, it was. I don't want to say it was bad or anything like that. It was just a movie. You know what I mean? It's just a movie you can watch. It's fun. So I'd give it about a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. See, I'm giving it a 2. To me, it was one that I will not watch again. I probably would watch, virtually anything other than that.
Other than Halloween Ends.
Yeah, or no Coyote Ugly. So yeah, I'm giving it 2. So we're gonna average that out. So 2.5 stars from us for Christy. So now let's move on to the other movie, Sawyer Massacre. We weren't going to do this originally, but it's been out there. It's getting a little attention, and it seemed much more kind of in our vein of our interest. So I thought, no, let's balance this out a little bit with something that's kind of exciting. It's a fan film. It's free on YouTube. If you check the show notes, I'll put the link to it there, and I highly suggest that you go watch it. So the synopsis of it is: on June 30th, 1965, Jimmy's friends bring him to the Texas countryside to escape city life after a terrible tragedy. In need of supplies for their cabin, they ascend to a nearby gas station where they are directed to find that their supplies are at an isolated farmhouse, but this property is not as it seems. They soon find themselves hunted by a cannibalistic psychopath. So this is a fan film prequel to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original film. And I have to say, for a fan film, I really like this. I really thought it had a pretty good production quality about it. I thought it looked good. I thought it had a good feel, kind of in sync with the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And to me, this was much more fun to watch. It was much more enjoyable. Again, it might more be just my mindset of what I like. But Ike, what was your overall view of Sawyer Massacre?
Yeah. Okay. So let me preface it by saying I did enjoy it. It was a fun movie. Obviously, as far as a fan film goes, it's very good production value. I quite enjoyed it. Um, I will say that obviously the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are not exactly notorious for having very concrete storylines, but I'm very curious where they would put this in terms of like which timeline, because as far as I'm aware, there are 3 timelines. You have the original timeline, which are like the original 4 movies. You have the remake timeline, which is like the 2003 and 2006 movies, and then the reboot timeline. So I'm assuming that this is just supposed to kind of take place as like a alternate like a prequel to just the original 74 movie. Is that right?
Yes, I think that's what they had in mind. I think their intentions were that it would talk, as pre the original film. It wouldn't really try to dive into too many deep topics where it would interfere with anything else out there, right? It would be kind of innocent enough in this universe that it's really not changing. It's not changing anything, right? No matter what you look at it and where you go, it's not trying to break any ground where it's going to conflict with anything that is canon out there.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I was kind of confused where it placed, but, in terms of canonicity, it didn't seem like it really clashed too much with anything else. I thought it was interesting because I don't remember what the character's name is, but the really weird character that I think eventually has like metal in his head. I think, is that what they call him, metalhead or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
You see him as a kid at that gas station, so I think that's pretty cool. So I do agree that like production value was really surprisingly good. The acting, again, was surprisingly good. I've seen high budget pictures that have worse acting than that, and I will say that the guy who played, I almost said Jigsaw, Jesus Christ, who played Leatherface, I was pleasantly surprised. Even at the end there, where he kind of has his like little fit.
Yeah.
It's honestly, it sounded like Gunnar Hansen. It sounded exactly like the original, and I was like, wow, that was pretty solid. And I didn't exactly like the ending. Obviously, I knew that they couldn't get away, but you didn't really get to see anybody die, so and I like to see people die in these movies, so
Yeah.
But it was interesting though. I will say it was good. I'd watch it again for sure.
Yeah, again, it's not it's not breaking any new ground. It's nothing whatever you want to say. But to me it was fun. It was solid enough, especially if you keep into context that it's it's a fan film. It's someone who clearly a passion project.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Right, I would I'd give it another watch. I'm not sure it's something I will seek out to watch, or if I was going to do any kind of watch through of Texas Chainsaw Massacres, if I would feel like this has to be in my rotation. But if with the right mood hits me, I would give it a rewatch. So let's rate it. I would think, again, it's kind of middle of the road for me. I think I would give it just 3 screams for this film.
Nope, I'm right there with you. 3 screams out of 5.
Yeah, again, that's and that again, that's not that's not any knock or anything else. It is what it is. And I don't think, I really feel like that's what they set out to do, is just make a fun watch that shows that they enjoyed the original film, and I think they accomplished that, right? I think that's what they set out to do. I think it was done. And again, I would highly advise you to go watch it. Again, I'll put it's free on YouTube. It's easy to find. I will put a link in the show notes so that it's easy to click on for anybody that wants to watch it. All right, Ike, that's it. We've got through another. We've been up and down a soapbox today. It's I don't know what it is. We got triggered on a few things here, and we did our reviews and everything else. So before we get out of here, Ike, you got anything that you want to throw in last minute?
Just don't be a dickhead. Just don't be a dickhead, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got, like I said, we've got some films lined up to review in the next couple episodes, but we're always looking for ideas and suggestions. So hit us up on those social medias. You can use the hashtag listen2screams with the number 2 in the middle there. And if there's something new, old, whatever, obscure, whatever it is, we don't care. We'll watch it, right? If you want us to talk about it, review it, or just get our general opinions on it, hit us up, let us know. If you have anything or know anything that's out there that is more Thanksgiving centric for November, throw it out there. I mean, I haven't done a lot of research, but if there's if there's a serial killing turkey out there somewhere that we don't know about, let us know. We'll throw that in there. If you're an independent filmmaker, such as those that made the Sawyer Massacre, and you would like to hear your show reviewed on ours, or send us a link, hit us up, let us know. We'll watch your film, right? We'll help you plug your thing, because again, we're all about supporting independent filmmakers and independent projects like this in the horror genre. So that's it for this episode. Like I said, next episode we will be reviewing All Jacked Up and Full of Worms. So check that out, coming soon. But until then, wherever you go and whatever you do, be good, be safe, and have many pleasant nightmares.